In the most typical Arsenal fashion, we've battered Man City 5-1 in probably one of the most memorable and amazing wins I've watched in my time as a fan. And yet, we found something to complain about within a few days. Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm Isaac Dodson, and today I'm going to be talking about Arsenal's failure in the January transfer window. Now look, I don't want to come across as too reactionary or one of the people that's like uber judgmental. I've never been Arteta out or anything like that, and I think this video I'm partially going to be talking about, first of all, who to point the finger at, and if there is a finger to be pointed. Also looking at the other side of things, why Arsenal haven't brought someone in, but also looking ahead, what does this mean for the rest of the season, but also what pressure does this put Arsenal under for the summer window. So starting off, who is the finger going to be pointed at? Arteta's name has been mentioned a lot. Why has Arteta not got a striker before? Shut up. I'm sorry, I'm not going to hear any of it. Arteta has very clearly in press conferences been mentioning, you know, we need someone, we need bodies, we need people, we need a forward. If it's right is doing a lot of work there, and people saying, well, Arteta didn't get someone because they weren't right, whatever. I think Arteta clearly wanted a striker, or a forward in general, just anyone. And Arteta doesn't get the final say on transfers. People think Arteta has a lot of power. I think Arteta does have a lot of power, but he's not doing all the negotiations, and he never was. He calls players, but I feel like you'd expect him to do that because, he's the manager, and players signing want to hear from them. And I think when that's actually proved effective in getting players approval, listening to the manager and what the role he has for them, then yeah. But he's not doing the club-to-club stuff, which is the really crucial stuff in getting a signing done. And clearly, it's not quite worked. Now, there's a few things in play. First of all, I'm not going to talk too much about Arteta. I don't think Arteta really is too much at fault. He's clearly wanted a forward. He wanted forwards last summer. He's wanted forwards now. And those same forwards that we were linked to last summer, we're going to be linked to again. We should have signed him in the summer, and now we're going to wait an entire year. We knew Nico Williams had high wage demands. Guess what? We didn't sign him. He's still got those same wage demands. Nothing has changed. You should just decide not to go for him or go for him. Don't go for him. Sesko I completely understand, but you need to decide whether or not it's worth waiting a year for this target until he's ready to move leagues, or go, no, we need a striker now. It's now or never. You sign for us or you don't, and you'll spend the rest of your career wondering, should I have taken that move? Because instead we're going for this player. Patience is a good thing, okay? Sometimes it's good not to rush, but this level of patience and willingness not to spend is concerning, and I would say it's gross negligence from the people in power at Arsenal. Now, in terms of who's to blame, obviously if you don't say Arteta, some people have pointed out the Kroenkes. Now, in this video, I'm actually not going to point the finger at anyone. I don't know who's to blame. I don't know what goes on inside Arsenal. I don't know what's going on there. What I do know is Arsenal's PSR situation is relatively good, according to reports. They have a lot of leeway, mainly due to the fact that we made a lot of sales in the summer. And now we've got money to spend. I don't think we need an influx of cash from the Kroenkes to spend that much money. Maybe if we want to activate a release clause that needs no installments, just a flat out big payment, maybe we would need something in that case. Edu leaving and us not finding a replacement and just promoting Jason Ito to kind of this interim sporting director, it's just a bit casual. It's just a bit, okay, we'll just do with what's going on. This is a very serious moment for our club. We are competing for the Premier League and for the Champions League, and in the current situation of our squad, we aren't going to be able to compete on both of those fronts. Really, I don't think so. And from the situation we are, signing no one in January, one, it's risking us not signing, it's risking us not winning anything, and that being to blame. Damn, what happened if we sign another forward? But there's actually another part of it, which I think is worse than that, because, not everyone wins the league. Only one team wins the league in every league. We could have signed someone and still not won the league. That is a complete realistic thing, because Liverpool have such a good league and they've been playing so well. The other point, which I think is more serious, is that we have so few players fit right now that not signing anyone is banking on us not having any injuries. You can say all you want about Kai Havertz, but he's been playing so much football, and you can't convince me that if he got a rest occasionally, had someone to compete with and trade minutes with, I don't know why that wouldn't benefit him. You know? People will need to remember, he was never signed as a striker, he was signed as a midfielder. But our lack of forwards is meaning he's up front. Sure, it's worked out, but he was never signed that way. And it's massively frustrating, because now we go into the rest of the season basically hoping that by the time Saka's back, no one else is out long term. And I don't know how Arsenal go through the rest of the season expecting no injuries. Because you know what? Ben White will come back, and I think Ben White will be fine for the rest of the season. Ben White is quite a resilient player, and we finally gave him surgery to kind of stop those little niggles which he's had for the last couple of years. That's fine. Saka is a massive concern for me, purely because it was a hamstring-related injury. And it's how he comes back from that. Because if you want someone to do well after an injury like that, after surgery, you don't want to overload them. And when Saka's back, we're going to want to use him. And what happens if Saka comes back and maybe when Eri has a knock and Sterling has a knock? He's going to have to play every minute. And that is really negligent. You see Rodri complaining at the start of the season about minutes on players. It's onto the clubs to sort that out and make sure there are minutes to go around. And we now got to the point, Saka's injury was a basic result of, do you know what? We just haven't signed someone who can play in his position. We haven't really. The fact that we got Sterling on deadline day on the last minute was like, oh, do you know what? We probably should have a winger. And the irony is we did that after getting rid of Nelson. And looking at Sterling, we should have just kept Nelson. Nelson is better than Sterling. It's not good for our players. I'm worried about pre-season. I don't know if the rest they're going to get before pre-season is going to be enough with the amount of work they're going to have to do carrying the squad. Rice, Jesus Christ, mate. Thank God you got an engine, because your legs are going to be finished in May. Kai Havertz, you saw the way he broke down at the end of the Wolves game. That is just like, that's an indication of a player who is playing too much. And there's almost no competition for his position. Now, if we got someone in, good, but we haven't. And I'm just praying, absolutely praying, that we make it through. We go to Dubai, players come back, Ben White comes back, we get more minutes around the board. Honestly, just play Kieran Tierney on the left at this point, because it's getting to the point now where we have so few players up front that's going to be the case. But basically, if there's a finger to be pointed, I think it's to be pointed at the board and almost the reluctance to focus on the short term instead of the long term. Now, look, the way I look at it is, it's like if you're building a house and you know you want to make sure your house is perfect, you want to make sure it's stable, you want to make sure this is a property which doesn't secure any damage and just like, this is a good house. You're spending so long looking at all the perfect materials which you want to find to really make sure this is a stable structure, while in the meanwhile there's a massive storm and it's blowing away everything you've built so far. Yes, looking at the long term is good because it's going to make you sustainable, but sometimes things happen. There is context. Things happen, and sometimes you have to react to them. And Arsenal should be aware that players get injured. Sometimes they get ACLs, and boom, that can be your season. And we didn't really have a plan for if that happened, which is surprising, because we went to the season knowing we wanted attacking depth, did not get it. I went, oh well, okay, let's just hope no one gets injured. And then people got injured before January, then Jesus got injured during January, and we still didn't react. And I'm just sorry, but that is just really awful. And it almost shows a willingness for us just not to succeed, because actually there is a greater level of threat here. Honestly, there is. Because this could mean Arsenal don't win the league. Like, if Arsenal don't win the league, it could also be because, you know, we just simply weren't good enough before this point. But I think this plays a part in us not... If we aren't able to compete beyond this point, that might be a part of it. But another part of it is, if, say, Rice gets a bad injury, or Havertz gets a bad injury, and it massively screws with our structure and who can play where, I think there's a danger that we maybe fall lower. And that's not on the players, and that's not on Arteta. It's on the board for being negligent in terms of supporting the fitness of the squad. And that's a massive, massive problem for me. And, that's my thinking and how it's going to impact the season. If Arsenal win the league or the Champions League, given what has been placed in front of us, it's an absolute miracle. If we win nothing this season, I'm sorry, but it's not on Arteta. It's so not on Arteta. With the context of what's happened this season, the fact that we're still doing quite well, the fact that we're second and we're only 6 points off, obviously they have a game in hand, I think Arteta has done an incredible job this season, given what's been placed in front of him. But now we need to look ahead to next season. What does this mean for the summer window? And Arsenal fans are all frustrated with what we've done this window, not bringing in the depth and the bodies which clearly our players are crying out for. We need more players. We need players to simply give us rest. And it's not like a Tottenham situation where Tottenham generally have just got everyone injured. It's like, I don't think Tottenham had a small squad, but like their squad got decimated by injury. So it's just massively just not fortunate for them. But in this situation, I knew when we did the summer window we were lacking. And now we have to play catch up in the summer window. Everyone knows our targets. Everyone knows Zubimendi. Everyone said that's basically done. I'm going to take Sammy McBell's word for it. I think he's quite a trustworthy journalist. So let's say that gets done. I think that's a very good signing. Obviously, with Thomas Partey likely to go and Jorginho definitely going to Flamengo in the summer, that is a very important signing. But if Arsenal don't get a striker of sesko or at least better quality and a winger, it's just the same problems over and over and over and over again. It is. I don't think I've known a time when Arsenal have needed something, a specific position. Oh, we need a DM, or we need a striker, or we need that goalkeeper, and we've decided to get them when people first thought of it. We wait window upon window upon window to be like, oh, we finally got that striker. Oh, well, now we've got the DM problem. Right, we're going to wait 2 years to get them. It took us years to sign a proper DM. Years. We kept signing them, and then it would be like, oh no, it's Xhaka. Xhaka's not a defensive midfielder. Last summer, you had to sign a striker for this Arsenal team. It simply had to be done, and it wasn't. And it's not that our business in that summer wasn't good enough. I could see why the San Marino. Joe, it's not a great signing. Joe, and also in the context of like the fee we paid, it's not the worst thing in the world. I think Calafiori is a good signing, but not signing the forwards to add to that is awful. And now the pressure is simply on them in the summer. Don't sign the forwards that we need. Okay, the board is going to be under massive scrutiny if we don't sign those forwards in the summer. And the fact that we've been interested in from last year, now in January, now again. You've been looking at these players for so long. You know how much they're worth. You know what their release clauses are. You know what their wage demands are. If they don't have their business done by the time a ball is kicked in pre-season, then we've got a problem. And look, that's where I'm going to leave it. I'm really frustrated. And look, I don't think it's the end of the world. I'm really happy with how the team is currently doing. 2 teenagers doing phenomenal work in the team, and hoping that we can really just kind of get through. Maybe we come back against Newcastle in the second leg. It's unlikely, but after a win like that, maybe we can do it. And I still love all the players in this team. I think they're doing their utmost to keep Arsenal in the race. But I've practically given up on the Premier League, and now I've got all my eyes on the Champions League. And maybe, just maybe, we can get a bit of luck to get further and hope for the best in that competition. But it is what it is. Bring on the summer window. Bring on Zubimendi signing on day one, and us signing no one until deadline day again. But yeah, this has been my video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Comment below what your thoughts are on Arsenal's window. Whether you're an Arsenal fan or not. Honestly, if you have opinions on Arsenal's window and you're, say, United or a Tottenham fan, yeah, comment below. Ding the bell if you want to be notified for whenever I upload in the future. Please subscribe so you can obviously get more of my content whenever I upload again. And yeah, I've been Isaac Dodson, and the transfer window has been an absolute shambles. See you in the next one.